The week of 1st to 7th June, aviation history tells a story of progress, tragedy and change. Let's take a look. 1940. BOAC commences a twice-weekly service between England and Portugal, scheduled to connect with Pan Am flights from Lisbon to New York. 1948. The Convair CV-240 enters service with American Airlines. And Philippine Airlines begins the first trans-Pacific sleeper service using Douglas DC-6 airliners between San Francisco and Manila. 1960. Trans-Canada Airlines begins transatlantic services, flying between Montreal and London with a DC-8. 1967. Boeing delivers its 1,000th jet airliner, a Boeing 707 for American Airlines. 1969. The Tupolev 144 supersonic airliner becomes the first aircraft of its class to fly through the sound barrier when it exceeds Mach 1 at an altitude of 36,000 feet. 1973. Bahamas Air commences operations, with its headquarters in Nassau. 1981. First flight of the Shorts 360, with Suburban Airlines the launch customer. 1983. Singapore Airlines announces its purchase of 6 Boeing 747s and 4 Boeing 757s, making it the first Asian airline to buy the 757. 1998. Metrojet, operated by U.S. Airways, begins operations. 2004. America West Airlines starts service between Phoenix and Anchorage. And Alaska Airlines starts service between Denver and Anchorage and discontinues service between San Jose and Tucson. 2011. Introduction of the Boeing 747-800 with Lufthansa. 2026. Southwest Airlines launches its first international flights from Las Vegas to the 3 Mexican resort cities of Cancun, Los Cabos and Puerto Vallarta. 1943. BOAC Flight 777, a DC-3, is shot down by Luftwaffe fighter aircraft over the Bay of Biscay, killing 17 passengers and crew. 1948. A Scandinavian Airlines DC-6 from Stockholm and a Royal Air Force Avro York collide over Northwood, London. 39 passengers and crew of both aircraft died in Britain's worst mid-air collision. 1962. Air France Flight 7, a Boeing 707 scheduled to fly from Paris to New York, skids and burns after the pilots reject the takeoff too late. The aircraft veers off the end of the runway and plows into neighboring buildings. 2 flight attendants are the only survivors, as 130 die in the worst single aircraft accident to date. 1963. Northwest Airlines Flight 293, a DC-7 on a military charter from Seattle to Alaska, crashes into the Pacific Ocean, killing all 101 on board. The cause is unknown. 1967. Air Ferry, a DC-4 on a charter flight from Manston to Perpignan crashes into Mount Canigou in France, killing all 88 passengers and crew due to carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty heater. And British Midland Flight 542, a Canadair C-4 Argonaut from Palma de Mallorca to Manchester, is on approach to Manchester Airport when an engine loses power because of a design failure in the aircraft's fuel system. 72 of the 84 on board are killed. 1969. Mexicana Flight 704, a Boeing 727, crashes on approach to Monterrey, Mexico, killing all 79 people on board. 1971. Hughes Air West Flight 706, a DC-9 scheduled from Los Angeles to Seattle, collides with a United States Marine Corps McDonnell Douglas F-4B Phantom fighter jet. The airliner crashes into the San Gabriel Mountains in California. All 49 people on board the airliner are killed. The pilot from the fighter jet is also killed, while his radar intercept officer successfully ejects and survives. The crash prompts the United States Armed Forces to agree to reduce the number of military aircraft operating under visual flight rules in civilian air corridors. 1973. The first production Tupolev 144 supersonic airliner broke up during a demonstration flight at the Paris Air Show, killing 14 people. The airliner fails due to a rushed design process, severe unreliability, economic inefficiency, and a catastrophic safety record. Passenger service lasts only 55 flights, with the aircraft often carrying mail instead of people due to safety concerns and low demand. 1976. Aeroflot Flight 418, a Tupolev 154, crashes into a mountainside on the island of Bioko in Equatorial Guinea. All 45 on board die. 1982. Aeroflot Flight 411, an Ilyushin 62, crashes after takeoff from Sheremetyevo Airport. All 90 on board are killed. 1983. Air Canada Flight 797, a McDonnell Douglas DC-9 from Dallas to Toronto, catches fire near the rear lavatory during flight over Kentucky, filling the plane with toxic smoke. The fire also burns through electrical cables that disable most of the cockpit instruments. The plane makes an emergency landing in Cincinnati, Ohio. 23 of the 46 passengers die from smoke inhalation after landing. 1989. Suriname Airways Flight 764, a DC-8 crashes while attempting to land in heavy fog at Paramaribo in Suriname. The plane hits trees and flips upside down, killing 176 of the 187 people on board. 1992. Copa Airlines Flight 201, a Boeing 737, crashes near Darien, Panama, after rolling, entering a steep dive, then disintegrating in mid-air, killing all 47 passengers and crew on board. The crash becomes the deadliest airliner accident in Panama. A faulty attitude indicator is the cause. And also, American Eagle Flight 5456, Akasa C-212 operated by Executive Airlines crashes into a swamp in heavy rain on approach to Mayaguez, Puerto Rico, killing all 5 people on board. 1994. China Northwest Airlines Flight 2303, a Tupolev 154, breaks up in mid-air and crashes near Xi'an, China, killing all 160 on board. The deadliest airplane crash ever to occur in China is attributed to a maintenance error. 1999. American Airlines Flight 1420, a McDonnell Douglas MD-82 skids off the runway on landing at Little Rock in Arkansas during strong winds after the pilots rush to land as soon as possible. This leads to errors in judgment that include the crew's failure to complete the pre-landing checklist before descending. 11 of the 149 on board are killed. 2009. Air France Flight 447, an Airbus A330 flying from Rio de Janeiro to Paris, crashes in the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 228 passengers and crew. Inconsistent airspeed indications and the resulting miscommunication between the pilots lead to an inadvertent stall. Bodies and aircraft debris are not recovered until several days later. The aircraft itself is not found until 2011. The crash is the first fatal accident of the Airbus A330 and the worst ever disaster involving the airliner. 2012. On approach to a landing at Lagos, Nigeria, the crew of Dana Air Flight 992, a McDonnell Douglas MD-83, report engine trouble and declare an emergency. Shortly thereafter, the aircraft crashes into buildings, killing all 153 people on board and 10 people on the ground. This is the second deadliest plane crash in Nigeria and the deadliest ever involving an MD-83. 1961. United Airlines absorbs Capital Airlines to become the largest airline in the West, with a fleet of 267 aircraft. 2009. Air Express Sweden is taken over by MCA Airlines. MCA Airlines would declare bankruptcy months later.